What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday to you. We are almost there. We are almost there. I am taking a little break, but I wanted to kind of talk about this interview that Ron DeSantis did on CNBC, where he's talking about Hurricane Milton and the after effects and what's going on with Florida. And there's been a lot of politicizing about the response to these hurricanes. Many people have their opinion about how the federal government has managed and responded to these hurricanes. But nevertheless, Ron DeSantis is getting on the mic and he's pretty much telling Kamala Harris, don't play with Florida, don't play with this, right? You're not going to get political brownie points trying to leverage this natural disaster. So listen to Ron DeSantis, and this is just fair usage.
Reaching out to you, and maybe not taking the call, and this whole thing, accusations that this had all become politicized.
So Kamala,
utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship.
Can you just speak to what happened there?
He looks so irritated. He's just like, I just want to throw up at this woman right now. Look at this interview with Ron DeSantis. He looked like he wants to throw up just by that very notion of what she's talking about.
The President of the United States. I'm working with the Director of FEMA.
So he's working with Joe Biden. He's working with FEMA. He's working with all the key players who he needs to be working with.
All my state assets. We've been doing this now nonstop for over 2 weeks between Helene and this. And so if there's anything I can leverage to benefit my people, I'm going to do it. The fact of the matter is they put out a story saying I didn't even know she was trying to reach me, but she has no role in this process. And I've been dealing with these storms in Florida under both Trump and Biden. Neither of them ever politicized it. And in fact, all the...
I would beg to differ. These politicians, they love politicizing natural disasters, and I think that's kind of a bipartisan accusation.
Storms I've dealt with under this administration, although I've worked well with the president, she has never called in Florida. She has never offered any support. So what she's doing is she's trying to inject herself into this because of her political campaign. So as the governor here who's leading this, I don't have time for those games. I don't care about her campaign. Obviously, I'm not a supporter of hers.
Don't come over here,
but she has no role in this process. And so I'm working with the people I need to be working with. We're leveraging the resources I need to be leveraging. And for her to try to say that my focus should be on catering to her rather than worrying about my own people just shows she doesn't understand what it means to respond to these natural disasters.
So DeSantis is not coming to play. He's like, don't come over here in Florida politicking when we really don't have time for that. We really don't have time for that. And this is what they do, and I've written blogs about this where I find it repulsive that people like to politicize natural disasters. And when you start politicizing these devastations to communities, it really takes the empathy, the sympathy away from the communities who are really suffering as we focus on the political clown shows. So I respect Ron DeSantis for saying, you know what, don't come over here trying that. We know you're trying to get all the brownie points you can because your campaign is bombing, right? You're losing all the black people because they don't like the way you've narrated yourself, right? So these people, it's so funny to me. It's funny to me because they're doing every single desperate thing it seems like they can to try to make Kamala Harris this, overly compassionate, motherly. It's like almost like they're trying to mommify her to the nations. And it's like, you're not our mother. You're not our mother, Kamala. But just wanted to put that out there. What do you guys think? Do you think that Ron DeSantis, he just missed her call? He didn't know she was calling him? Or do you think Ron DeSantis was like, I'm already dealing with the people that I need to deal with, so I'm just not even paying attention to you? you want me to give you attention, and I'm telling you, no, I'm over here focusing on my people who have just been devastated by this natural disaster. So I don't have time for you, Kamala. I don't have time for you. So very, very interesting. I'd be curious to know what the Harris campaign rebuttal to this is, because obviously, they got to victimize her. Like, at this point, they got to play the victim card with Kamala Harris. Like, that's like literally the only option right now, is they got to victimize her. They're not wanting to listen to her. They don't want to pick up the phone, and, they see it's a black woman calling or a black looking woman calling, and, they just, I can see them spinning this all kinds of ways, but at the end of the day, Ron DeSantis and even Joe Biden, I believe Joe Biden even said that he was working with, and honestly, it was so funny because Joe Biden came out about the, how the federal government was helping with the issues in Florida. And, Joe Biden has been so off the radar that he's just not on my radar. So I never really expect for him to be out talking about anything. But apparently he was recently out, and he did say that the federal government was working with Ron DeSantis as well. So I don't know what Kamala Harris is trying to do. Her current boss is taking the charge on this. You couldn't really even handle the border for us. So you might want to just sit this out and try to figure out something else to kind of rally people around, because this natural disaster, it ain't it. And Ron DeSantis is clear. Don't come over here leveraging our natural disaster because you want political brownie points. So you guys have a wonderful day. I will catch you a little bit later. I'll do a live stream. I've just been really, really busy, and it's just my time it's more constrained these days. So I will do a live stream maybe about 7:30. I caught a conversation about these Brazilian butt lifts that some of these harlots are constantly getting. And, it's interesting to hear men talk about how they don't really like over-sexualized women. And it's interesting. It's really just an interesting thing to hear multiple men coming out and saying, and it's interesting how men sort of, discriminate women in a way where, they say, okay, that's the fun chick. The BBL chick is the fun chick, right? But when we want to talk about parent-teacher conferences and meeting the parents and doing the family thing, they're going with the women who have the natural body frames. And that's interesting that some men are noting this. So we'll talk about this a little bit later. Until then, I will catch you on the next one. Bye.